I searched scalping on TradingView, went through the most popular results, pulled out the 5 actually worth your time, and ranked them against 5 most important criteria the good scalping indicator should match. Let's get into it. WaveTrend Oscillator Plus, created by Oscar Gallard, is an enhanced rebuild of what is probably the most copied oscillator on TradingView. If you have used the Lazy Bear version, you already know the concept. Price is normalized through a channel calculation, smoothed into a momentum wave, and crossovers with a signal line produce buy and sell reads. It works. The problem is that for scalping specifically, the default EMA smoothing introduces enough lag that by the time the crossover fires on a 1-minute chart, a meaningful portion of the move has already happened. This version addresses that directly. The most significant addition is a full moving average type selector with 20 options. Swapping the default EMA for HMA or JMA meaningfully reduces the lag on the underlying calculation without changing the signal structure. That is a real and useful improvement, not just cosmetic customization. The reversal threshold system is the other genuine differentiator. Overbought and oversold signals only fire when the oscillator crosses back from an extreme level. The squeeze indicator integration adds another context layer, and divergence detection is built in across all the oscillator modes. It is a confirmation tool rather than a standalone entry system. If you want a complete trading system with full customization so you don't have to jump between tools, Quantum Ribbon Pro was built for that. Link in the description. Let's continue. The crossover signals tell you momentum is shifting, but without a structure reference or volume context alongside it, you are still making a judgment call on every trade. The feature density is worth flagging. This indicator bundles WaveTrend, Elliott Wave Oscillator, Squeeze Momentum, DMI, ADX, and divergence detection into a single script. The default view is manageable, but a new user could easily overwhelm their chart before they understand what any of it is telling them. WaveTrend Plus is a meaningful upgrade over the version most traders are using, and the moving average flexibility alone justifies the switch. It is still a momentum oscillator with the lag limitations that come with that, and on the fastest scalping timeframes, those limitations do not disappear regardless of which smoothing method you choose. Scalping Entry-Exit Indicator by Dijet, created by Mikils, takes a different approach from everything else on this list. It focuses entirely on price action, specifically on candlestick patterns as entry triggers, with ATR-based stop-loss and take-profit levels calculated and drawn directly on the chart at the moment the signal fires. The pattern set covers bullish and bearish hammers, engulfing candles, morning and evening stars, and a simplified head and shoulders detection. When any of these trigger, a label appears, showing the pattern name, the stop-loss price, and the take-profit price based on your chosen risk-reward ratio. The lines are drawn automatically. For a scalper who thinks in price action terms, the visual output is about as clean and immediate as it gets. It is clean on repainting, and the speed is genuinely good. Because there is no smoothing layer, signals fire on the bar close with no additional delay. The limitation is noise filtering, and it is a significant one. There is no trend filter, no volume confirmation, and no ATR threshold requiring a minimum candle size before a pattern qualifies. On a 1 or 5 minute chart, that means hammers and engulfing candles will appear constantly, many of them in choppy sideways conditions where price action patterns have very little predictive value. It can function as a standalone entry system in the sense that it gives you a signal, a stop, and a target. Whether those signals are high quality enough to trade from directly is a different question, and on fast time frames, the answer requires additional context. The creator of this script has built something visually excellent and structurally honest, with ATR risk management baked in from the start. The noise filtering gap is real, and would need to be addressed with a trend or volume layer before this becomes consistently usable on the time frames scalpers actually work on. Pulse Entry Engine, created by TradingView Scalping, is one of the more ambitious free indicators I have come across. It builds a signal scoring system from 0 to 100, running the Special K momentum oscillator against a signal line, measuring the distance between them relative to a rolling average, and only firing when that stretch clears a mode-specific threshold. The result is labeled, color-coded, and displayed with TP and SL projection boxes that extend and update in real time. You get a zero-line filter, an EMA direction filter that operates in reversal mode. Long signals require price below the EMA, short signals require price above, a higher time frame bias overlay, and 5 signal modes ranging from aggressive through to funded account. The honest limitation for scalping is the underlying engine. Special K is a long cycle momentum smoother by design. The scalping mode tightens the thresholds, but does not change the calculation speed. The EMA filter logic is also worth understanding before you use it. The reversal orientation means longs are only allowed when price is below the EMA, which is counterintuitive if you expect a trend following filter. It can work, but it will suppress signals in trending conditions, where the most reliable scalp entries tend to cluster. Pulse Entry Engine is structurally more complete than most free indicators at this level, and the scoring system and TP and SL projection framework show real thought. The Special K foundation is the ceiling on its scalping suitability, and that is a mathematical constraint rather than a design flaw. Ultimate Scalping Tool, created by Bullbyte, is a composite oscillator that combines 4 normalized components: ADX trend direction, RSI momentum, ATR volatility regime, and Chaikin money flow volume pressure into a single weighted score displayed as what the author calls quantum flux candles. Each component is normalized to a common scale, combined according to configurable weights, and the result drives both the oscillator visualization and the signal classification system. What makes this genuinely interesting for scalping is the adaptive weighting layer. When ADX is strong, trend weight increases automatically. The indicator is continuously rebalancing its own inputs based on current market conditions, which is a more sophisticated approach than a fixed formula and produces different behavior in trending versus ranging environments. The market mode presets are a practical feature. Switching between crypto, stocks, forex, and options automatically adjusts the ADX length, RSI period, ATR period, CMF period, normalization lookback, and component weights. For traders who move across instruments, that removes a significant amount of manual reconfiguration. Bullbyte has built something with real analytical depth here, and the adaptive weighting is the kind of detail that separates a thoughtful indicator from a formulaic one. The information density is the trade-off, and whether that works for you depends heavily on how much pre-session preparation you put in before the market opens. PRO Scalper, created by Badrock Capital, is the most structurally complete scalping tool on this list, and the one that most clearly understands what scalpers actually need from a chart. Rather than building another signal generator, it constructs a spatial framework, session VWAP, opening range high and low, pivot-based supply and demand zones with touch counters, and volume anomaly bubbles, that gives you reference points to trade from rather than arrows telling you when to click. The session VWAP resets daily and is calculated natively without any external security calls. The opening range builds dynamically over a configurable number of bars, with an auto mode that scales the range length to your current time frame. These two levels together give you the most referenced intraday anchors used by serious scalpers, drawn cleanly and updated in real time. The zone system maintains 2 pairs of pivot-based supply and demand levels simultaneously, one using wider pivots for structural context and one using tighter pivots for near-term reference. Each zone tracks how many times price has touched it, which is directly relevant to how much weight you should give a level on the next approach. Zones that have been tested multiple times carry different significance than fresh ones, and this indicator surfaces that information automatically. The volume bubbles are the most distinctive feature. Rather than showing raw volume, the indicator identifies candles where the absolute delta clears the 85th percentile of recent readings, and sizes the bubble according to how far above that threshold the reading falls. You are seeing genuine volume anomalies, not just high-volume bars. It is a standalone tool in the fullest sense. Repainting is clean throughout, and the visual output is readable at a glance while price is moving. The one thing it does not give you is an explicit entry trigger. It defines the context, and the entry decision remains yours. PRO Scalper is the indicator on this list built most specifically for how scalping actually works in practice. The VWAP and opening range framework is rooted in real institutional reference levels. The zone system is structurally honest, and the volume bubble layer adds information that most scalping indicators ignore entirely. We have recently introduced the complete QR Pro BST ecosystem. One workflow, 3 tools. Backtest your settings, scan for opportunities, and trade with confidence. Link in the description if you want to see how it works.